wow, a new flagship bike. Thinking back to where a project really originates. Here we are on the end of this project, and we're just super excited and super fired up about it, but where's the real genesis of our flagship road bike? My earliest thoughts of this specific model go back to 1994. New technology, new materials, we wanted to build a road bike out of it. As that evolved and was eventually named Vortex, it was beneath a lot of other professional riders through the 90s. And we had, legends in the make, multiple, of many nationalities racing this bike. And the feedback was phenomenal. It was great. We continued to evolve the technology as we went past the Vortex and into the Archon. That really upset a lot of folks because the Vortex had been around for probably 10 years at that point. I was once accused of killing the Vortex. If we were being savage in that way, the Archon was the right bike. And to witness how component specification had changed, how a wheel set had changed drastically. The wheels had gotten so much lighter, they weren't as stiff. Mapping the stiffness and the characteristics of the top carbon bikes of that day and age was very important. And we had to forget everything that we felt was great and how you fabricate titanium and do something different, do something new. But now we're so many years later, and we've passed through the T1 SL, and that was a fun era as well. We've really enjoyed that bike, and it helped us transition from rim brake specification into disc brakes. And now that we're in new standards, and not only the component specification and the materials technology have changed so much, but how a bike is ridden. It's those who spend long hours who really aspire to own a flagship hand-built titanium bicycle. The one thing that's always so important as we're creating a new model or a new series of a bike is the creativity. We cannot lose the creativity, what's not been done yet. So what's changed in this bike from the T1 SL? And I can proudly say everything. Everything has changed. There's no common tube, there's no common part. It is a completely new design. As we start to break it down, we start at the head tube. The head tube is now externally butted. In the past, it's been internally butted. And you really couldn't see the craftsmanship and how we manipulate and change that tube form. From the very beginning, the top tube has really been the trademark of our flagship bikes. We've simplified the design for the sake of performance. As we're focused on the drivetrain and the component compatibilities and the tire sizes and so forth, we often forget about what's happening in the top tube and the role that the top tube plays in a bicycle. Chainstay's a bit subtle, but while the requirements of chainring sizes, we've got old schoolers that want to ride, big 54s and 56s. We've got the new schoolers that don't need that much. They're going to smaller cogs in the rear, and these 12-speed drivetrains are fantastic. Retain the compatibility of large rings while allowing really big tires. Whether you're on a mildly treaded 33 or a smooth 35, whatever that obsession is, if you still want to ride a really tight 25, the bike's capable. But having that great compatibility, we've been able to stiffen the frame and allow a little more tire volume to provide the comfort. So I think that's one of the hidden secrets in this bike. You just don't know what a top tube or a set of seat stays might do for the standing acceleration of a bike, but they're super important. We then focus on the machine parts. It's new dropouts, bottom bracket shell, the brake mount. We're able to bring this down to 20 grams. It's minuscule. And I'm often asked, why are you not 3D printing? Why are you not 3D printing in your bikes? It's a fun technology, and it's wonderful for development reasons and purposes. In production, I can continue to have a higher strength to weight ratio with CNC machining billet material. I follow a lot of inspiration in aerospace, and when it comes to a tiny little brake mount, and bringing that down to half the weight that it might have been previously, that's the reason that I've stuck with CNC machining. We got extreme in years past, and you had to choose between a race bike and a endurance road bike, or whatever category the industry seemed to create. And a good race bike is a good race bike, and it should be able to be fit to any athlete who wants to ride this bike. The greatest feature in this bike is the ride. The Spezia allows us to bring some soul back into the bike. Not that it had lost it, but that we can really embrace it. It's not just the sensation, it's not just the performance, but it's that feeling and appreciation of the craftsmanship that's gone into this bike.